Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to HG Radio, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. Here is your co-founder and host, Kim Becker.
Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. This episode is brought to you by Amplified Marketing Group. They specialize in affordable mobile solutions. They will get you noticed and help you retain customers. Check them out at yourphoneguy.com. Our guest today is Penny Brazo. Penny is a widow, a mom, a grandma, a two-time cancer survivor, living a busy life, but never too busy to walk beside someone with cancer. Hi, Penny. How are you today?
I'm good, Kim. How are you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. You are such an inspiration, and I'll tell you, I love having the opportunity to share stories like yours, because I think so many times when people get a cancer diagnosis, they think it's a death sentence. And so many times, it just in recent with the medical advancements and the research that they're doing, a cancer diagnosis isn't a death sentence anymore. And you can get through it and you can live a very full, healthy life after cancer. And so that's why I'm so excited to have you here today to share your story so that you can inspire our listeners.
Well, I'm happy to be here. It was very nice of you to think of me.
So tell me a little bit about share your first cancer diagnosis.
My first cancer diagnosis was cervical cancer, and I was in my very early 40s and was given some options, and the one was a hysterectomy. And I thought, well, I didn't plan on having any more children at that age. And if I did that, I wasn't going to have to worry about cervical cancer or uterine cancer. And so I had a hysterectomy and took care of that problem.
And then did you have to go through any type of treatment besides just the surgery?
No, nothing at all.
Okay. So then you had a cancer diagnosis the second time. So when did that happen?
That was in 2001. And I found a lump. It was under my arm. So I'd had my mammograms and everything. It wouldn't show up. And so I thought, well, I better get this looked at, and it was stage 3 breast cancer. But the morning I was going to the doctor to see about it, I've always used this devotional, The Upper Room, and that day it happened to be about a woman who had cancer, but God told her she would survive to serve, and I claimed that, and I had peace that passed all understanding all through the whole thing.
Wow. So with your second diagnosis, did you have to have more than just the surgery done that time?
Oh, yes. I did 6 weeks of chemotherapy first because they said the less tumor material they had to cut through, the better it was. So I had Cytoxan and Adriamycin mixed together, 2 chemos, every 2 weeks for 6 weeks because they said I was a healthy person. I could handle that. And then I had a lumpectomy, and the surgeon was very surprised because when they got there, it was gone.
Wow.
I could tell where it had been. Yeah, he said he'd never seen anything like it. It was amazing. And so I thought, oh, well, we're done. No, then I had 6 more weeks of chemotherapy. I had Taxol that time. And then I did 30 radiation treatments. I was in treatment for 6 months.
Wow. And so tell me about the side effects that you experienced when you went through your cancer treatment.
Well, it's funny because everybody always says, did you get awfully sick? I was never sick. They have drugs for that. But I was more tired than I ever thought I could be in my life. One Sunday I hadn't been to church for a while, and I thought, I'm going to go to church. By the time I took a shower and got dressed, I went, I think I'll go to the couch. Couldn't do it. And I had a friend that came over and went away thinking that I was on my last legs because I was on the couch, and I could not raise my head. And it was just because I was that tired. So my advice to people.
And on those days that you were that tired and you needed to do something, like what did you have to tell yourself that you needed to move? What was it that you had to tell yourself that you, like, what encouraging words, what self-talk did you use to tell yourself you knew this wouldn't be forever and that you would get past this and it would get better?
Well, in the second chemo that I had after the radiation, it would follow a course. So I knew exactly what to do. I knew that I would get an infusion, and 3 days later, I was going to have to be on the couch for 24 hours. So he just did it. That one made the bone marrow expand, and it was just a really strange kind of hurting feeling. With the first two, that took a little getting used to, because this was something totally new. I was fortunate. I had so many people that walked beside me that I had one friend, she named herself my coordinator. So when I would have chemo, I never knew who was going to pick me up, but someone would pick me up and they would take me over there and they would stay with me and tuck me in with blankets. And usually they'd take me out to lunch. So it just got so it followed a pattern. But I just told myself, and this is the advice I give to people, you have to understand that your body is being attacked in two ways. You're being attacked by the chemotherapy and you're being attacked by the cancer. And right now, the most important thing in your life is you've got to rest. You have to do all you can to help your body. So I would just rest and drink lots of water. I was so afraid that I was going to get mouth sores. I'd seen a friend that had been through cancer and had those awful mouth sores. And they said, if you can keep your mouth clean and drink a lot of water. So I started drinking water, and I would just had to deal with it. That's the most important thing you have to do right then, is get yourself through that, and everything else can be put aside.
And so share with our listeners. Now, you had shared with me that the doctor was very pleased because the very first type of cancer that you had was extremely rare and they just weren't sure. So can you share that story again?
Well, when I had my breast cancer, was the doctor never told me. When I finished my treatment, went for that last visit, said, just go out and live your life. So I did. And it was 16 years later when I saw him for my annual checkup, and he said, I'm going to tell you something. The cancer that you had was very scary. It was scary for me. And when we finished, I would have thought your life expectancy would be 1 to 5 years. And that was 16 years later. And now I'm at 19 years.
Wow. And those are the stories that I love to tell. Those are the stories that I love for my listeners to hear because, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, I think so many times people take it that a cancer diagnosis is a death sentence, and it's not. You can live through it and you can live a very full life even after your cancer treatment. Now, I know you and I have chatted. Do you have ongoing side effects from your treatment from years ago?
I do. I have my thumb and my first two fingers on my right hand are numb. That's because where my lump was where a bunch of nerves come together and it got damaged a little bit. And my passion used to be counted cross stitch and quilting, and I can't do either one because I can't feel that I have a hold of a needle. Mm-hmm. And I have neuropathy in my feet that was just on the soles of my feet, and just like 6 months or 9 months ago, it started to move up into my ankles and was giving me a little problem. And I talked with my doctor, and I have a medication that I take, and it's much better, even the original just on the soles of my feet. Awesome. But other than that, I don't have any.
That's awesome.
Side effects.
And I think that that's incredible because even with that, the medications that they give to get rid of the cancer and what they can do for the side effects going forward, I think that that's why research is important, because every day they're coming out with something new. They're coming out with a new drug to kill a cancer or something new that will help just kind of eliminate or alleviate a lot of the side effects that have to go along with cancer treatment.
So it's amazing. It's just amazing what they've been able to do.
So I met you through Hello Gorgeous, and you nominated your friend Denise. So I want to know about your friendship. Tell me about Denise and tell me about how you met her.
Denise and I met probably 30 years ago. We both worked at JCPenney together and have been good friends ever since. And she is just so much fun. And she's just such a woman of faith. And so it was just a year ago that she was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. And my friend Denise went after that the way she does with everything. Her question to the doctor was, well, what do we do now? We'll just do what we have to do. And she had a stem cell transplant, and that's a huge treatment. And she was in Indianapolis. She was in the hospital for 14 days, I think it was. And I would text with her every day, and she'd say, "How are you doing?" "Oh, I'm doing fine." And finally, I'd say, "No, I know better than that. How are you really doing?" And she'd tell me, "But that's just what you have to do." And that's what she did. And I knew about Hello Gorgeous, and I thought my friend Denise would be perfect for that, because she is one who is always doing for other people. She will do anything she can to make other people feel good. And she was head director of volunteers at St. Joe Hospital for 10 years, and she's very involved with St. Margaret's House, and she's a cook there on Thursdays. And so I thought, I'm going to nominate her. That would be a wonderful thing. And this was, I thought about it last summer when she was going through the treatment, but I thought, when she gets home and things get better, and was really pleased when she was picked.
And so how did you first hear about Hello Gorgeous?
From my friend Tammy McGaldy. I knew she was involved with it. And then I had seen things on TV. I remember when your vehicle burned. Wasn't that in your driveway? And that was
my mom's TV. Driveway. Yep.
Yeah. But I had heard about it, and I thought, what a really, really nice thing, because women who are going through any type of cancer just go through so much. There's just so much that you have to deal with. And I especially like that you would do their hair, because I thought it was really funny when it was one of the first things I said to Dr. Ann, "Sorry, am I going to lose my hair?" And that's typical. And here we are, we're going to be in the fight for our life. And what do we worry about? Are we going to lose our hair?
And, that was one of the main reasons, as a hairdresser for 30 years, that was what I would hear more than anything else. A lot of times as a hairdresser, I was the first one to find out that a woman had been diagnosed with cancer before her family even knew. And that was the first question out of their mouth was, am I going to lose more than I think death itself? I think they were fearful of losing their hair.
Oh, yeah. I took Denise to get her hair cut before she went to Indianapolis, because she was real reluctant about it. And I said, you know how it is when hair falls out, just when you take a shower, it's just kind of icky. Well, when it falls out, because when they told me mine would fall out in 3 weeks, 2 weeks in, I went to my hairdresser and I got my hair cut really, really short. And my sons didn't realize how much they looked like me till we all had the same haircut. and 3 weeks, it fell out, but I didn't have a mess to deal with. And so I talked Denise into doing it. And that's usually my suggestion to people is go and get it cut short, because then you also have some control when you do that.
Well, and I think that I remember there was one time I had a lady that came in, and she was experiencing what you had said, where it was falling out by the handfuls, and she just kept saying, "This is just so bothersome, all of this hair." And she'd just come in for a wig fitting. I actually wasn't doing anything else except just making sure that her wig was on right, and maybe just to trim up the bangs on the wig. And so as we sat there and we chatted, and I said, this is an option for you, is that you can cut your hair short underneath, we can buzz it. And I said, it won't prevent it from falling out, but at least you'll just have the little pieces that were there. And she didn't know. So I'm so grateful that you took Denise and you encouraged her, because you don't know what you don't know. And the doctor's jobs are to cure the cancer. I always say my job is to make sure you look really good while you're going through the cancer. But so as this woman sat there, that's what I did was we shaved her head, and she left so much happier, because even though the hair was still falling out, it was just little itty bitty pieces. It wasn't that long, cumbersome hair that was there. And so again, what you offered, Denise, is priceless, because the people don't think about it, and they don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's what God meant when he said I would survive to serve, is I've been given the privilege to walk beside so many women. And when I can talk to them, they feel better, because they know that I've been there.
Mm-hmm. And so what do you tell somebody then? I guess my question is, what is it like to actually walk next to and support a friend that is going down that same cancer journey that you went through? Even though the cancers are different, many of the treatments and the side effects are still the same. So what does that feel like?
At first, it's just listening. You have to listen to them and see what they're feeling and what they're talking about, and then it's just a step-by-step thing. It's like any other thing. You can't give anybody too much at one time. You just kind of little bits and pieces. You know, I tell them about the first time I went to get my very first chemo treatment. My son took me, and we were prepared. We had a bucket, we had towels, we had Gatorade, we had everything. We went and I got my first infusion, and we stopped at Burger King and ate hamburgers on the way home because I'd heard all these stories. I thought I was going to just immediately be sick, and I never was sick because of, again, they had the medication for that. I tell them to talk to their doctors or talk to their nurse practitioner, whoever, and to give themselves that opportunity to heal. Do everything you can for yourself. And the other thing that I tell them that I think is very important for them is let anybody that wants to do something for you do it. You may not need it, but they need it, because your friends and family all feel so helpless. There's nothing that they can really do. So, if somebody wants to vacuum, let them vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them you're stealing a blessing from someone if you don't let them help you.
That's true. That's true. So you've been on both sides. You've actually been the cancer patient, and then you've been able to walk along women that have battled cancer. So somebody that's listening that would have a loved one that's actually battling cancer, what are some of the hints and tips that you can give them to support their loved one? Because I know that one of the reasons that we started Hello Gorgeous was because that as loved ones, that you sit there and you watch your loved one go through cancer, you feel helpless. You feel like there isn't anything that you can do to take away the pain. You can't take away the nausea. And so what words of encouragement would you give to those that are actually watching their loved ones battle cancer?
I would say that they need to keep communication open, and they need to let their cancer patient make their own decisions. I find that people will say, oh, we're going to do this or we're going to do that, but we don't want to ask Susie because she's probably just too tired. Well, ask her and let her decide if she's too tired. They need to make these decisions. You can offer help, but sometimes they want to do things just because they don't feel like the cancer is completely in control. But I say listen to them. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything, just knowing that you're there. I think people sending cards, I still have a whole box full of cards. I printed every email that I got. Encourage everybody that to encourage them. Getting cards from people that you don't expect, anything like that.
Awesome. And that's what I found too. We have found, that's why to me, the reveal as part of the Hello Gorgeous makeover is so important, because I find that when a woman is diagnosed with cancer, people don't know what to say. So they say nothing and stay away. And so that's what she needs, is just that, that encouragement, and what it does for the person that's receiving the card or the email or the note or just the text message that says you're thinking about them. I think it just makes them feel less alone during this time, because I really do believe people don't know what to say. So they just say nothing and they stay away, which is the worst thing that you can do for your loved one battling cancer.
Sure. I had a friend that called and wanted to know if it was all right if she came to visit and could she bring her son. He was 8 years old. And at that time I was concerned about him because I was bald. And she said, oh no, it'll be all right. We've already talked about it. And it was that he could see and he could understand why my hair fell out, and that it would come back and everything was okay. And that was really nice.
That's awesome. Well, I think that if it's normal, it's as normal as you make it normal. If you make it, I always tell my son, if you make a big deal, it's a big deal. So don't make a big deal. You just, and that's just it. You have that conversation. You don't make it a big deal. You talk about it matter of factly. Well, then they're not freaked out and they're not scared and they're not. But if you make a big deal and you get freaked out and you get scared, then of course the child's going to follow your lead. So I think that would be interesting to know what that child thought of that. And even going back, if he thinks about that memory now.
Well, I'll have to ask him. He graduated from Northwestern last year, and I'll just bring that up and ask him what he thought of all that.
That's right.
Well, the other thing is, if your cancer patient can't eat, don't worry about it. The doctor will make sure that they get enough. You can get Ensure or something. But I remember I didn't get sick. I didn't not eat because I was sick. I didn't eat because I was too tired to eat. And sometimes I would mention, oh, something sounds good. And the next thing I would know, it would appear. Somebody would bring it. And then when I would get here, I'd have a few bites and I just couldn't. And it was, we had the same thing with Denise when she came home from Indianapolis, and she was so thin. And I went over there for lunch one day, and she told me what she wanted me to pick up, and I picked it up and took it over, and it was like a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and she ate maybe a quarter of it. Well, that was all right, you know. And
Well, whatever she could do.
She told us when she was tired, it was time for us to leave, and we left. And you know, she had some things to eat. Eating gets to be a problem because, like I said, sometimes you're just too tired to eat, or things that you always like don't sound good, but it's, oh, that gets better. Your appetite comes back.
What was it like for you?
That.
What was it like for you to watch her get that makeover the day that her makeover took place?
It was so much fun because she is a person who is always doing for someone else. And to see, and she was so surprised. It was a total surprise because that was not easy. When you first said Sunday morning, I'm going, what am I going to do? How am I going to get Denise on a mass? That woman goes to mass every Sunday. And, I had to come up with a story. And it was just so much fun when it all came together. And it was, she was walking on air for probably the rest of the week.
What do you think what was your favorite part, like watching her through that makeover experience? What was when you look back on, what's the one thing that day you were like, wow, that was it. That was the moment that you were like, this was the right thing to do.
I think of the initial surprise right there at Martin's, because she was totally surprised. But again, it's like Denise does everything. Well, we'll just go with it. And she enjoyed every moment of it. And I loved it when I saw her in her new outfit with her hair all done and a big smile on her face, and she looked gorgeous.
Awesome. Well, and again, I think, we can't do what we do without people like you. We've got to have somebody on the inside that knows the family, that knows the friends, that knows the clothing sizes in order to be able to, to get us the information that we need and to get us the people that are gathering, for her big reveal party. So I can't thank you, because without you, that would have never happened. So I can't thank you enough for making sure that she was able to really enjoy that special day.
Well, it was a wonderful day, and you just have that all put together so well. And she just felt like a queen the whole time.
That was my goal. That was my goal. So what is one?
It worked.
Oh, good. I like it when a plan comes together, like what you said. So we've just got a couple minutes left here. So tell me, what is one thing that you would tell someone that was just at the beginning of their cancer journey?
Confide in your best friend. If you know someone who's been through cancer treatment, confide in that person. But that's the big thing, is tell people how you feel. Don't be afraid to ask your doctor questions. There are people that will walk with you in every step of the way, in your medications, how to deal with it, how to deal with your hair loss, how to deal with being tired. There are people that want to walk with you. And a lot of them are your family and your closest friends. And just let them be a part of that, because for me, the hardest part of going through my cancer treatment was watching the faces of my family and friends. And the more I could engage them, the easier it was to watch, because they were a part of it and they were helping.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Wonderful advice. Well, thank you, Penny, for joining us today. I appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me and share your story. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for doing Hello Gorgeous. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Well, thank you. If you have any questions or comments, or would like to know more about the guests on our show, or for more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org, or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. And we invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download our mobile app. Thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker. And until next time, stay gorgeous.
Another beautiful day, walking in the sunshine, spending the time with you. Last night we had a good time, dancing in the moonlight and loving the night away. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like without you. I can't imagine that.